LeBron James is hospitalized in stable condition a day after going into cardiac arrest during a USC basketball practice. Richest deal in NBA history now belongs to Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown. ESPN's Mark Spears reports Brown has agreed to a 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension. Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh facing a potential 4-game suspension as the school and NCAA continue to negotiate a resolution to an investigation into the Wolverines' recruiting practices during the COVID-19 recruiting dead period. ESPN radio host Harry Douglas.
Why does it have to be the first 4 games? Because to me, when I'm looking at their schedule, why it can't be the last 4 versus Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State? That would leave a bigger imprint versus suspending him for the first 4 games versus East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers.
Harry Douglas on ESPN Radio Afternoons. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports Cowboys star corner Trayvon Diggs finalizing a 5-year, $97 million extension.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
This is Canty and Carlin.
Breaking news, Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown's agreed to the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension.
That's all I could do right now, Sage. Back the Brinks truck up.
He works hard. He shows up all the time. He's a star in this league. He plays on both ends of the floor. He doesn't cheat the game.
What this tells me is that Boston is saying we're putting the pedal to the metal. Also, when you look at a guy like Jaylen Brown, it has to be go time.
Welcome into Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Alongside Aaron Goldhammer, I'm Michelle Smallman. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. One of the big headlines in the sports world today is Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics agreeing to the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $304 million Supermax contract extension. We're going to talk about it now with Sports Illustrated senior writer and NBC Sports Boston NBA analyst Chris Mannix, who joins us now. Chris, thank you so much for the time. And with this deal, how much pressure is now on the Boston Celtics to win a championship? Is it championship or bust for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been that way for the last couple of years. And if you look back at Jaylen Brown's second and third years, once Jason Tatum came on board, they had some runs to the conference finals. And when they came up short, you kind of dismiss it as, just a young team going through what young teams typically go through. Now, the Celtics have been to an NBA finals. They were back in the conference finals last year. Jaylen Brown's going to be 27 years old when the season starts next year. Jason Tatum, just a couple of years behind him. This team is now, with the money these guys are getting paid and what the payroll looks like around them, it really is championship or bust.
Chris, why did it take a couple of weeks to get this done? I was kind of surprised it didn't happen back on July 1st or July 6th or a number of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think there are a few reasons for that. One is this contract was negotiated under an entirely new collective bargaining agreement. And if you remember, the teams, while they had a pretty good idea of what was in the new CBA, they didn't get copies of it really until the day before free agency opened, like full copies of the document. And that takes some time to digest. And then when you're dealing with a player like Jaylen Brown, who is really good, but not on the Jokic or Giannis or frankly even Jason Tatum level where you just slide the max contract in front of them and really do whatever it is that player wants you to do with that contract. I think there was some negotiating there. And you saw that in some of the deal points. Jaylen Brown does not have a player option on this deal. The trade kicker is a little bit lower than the typical 15% that some players get or most players get on new deals. So there was just some haggling. But whenever I checked in with people around Jaylen Brown and certainly people around the Celtics, there was never any question that any of the lingering issues were going to prevent this deal from ultimately getting completed. So it did take a little bit longer than some expected, but I don't think it was ever in danger of not getting done.
Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated senior writer, NBC Sports Boston, NBA analyst, joining us here on Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. And Jason Tatum's eligible for a Supermax extension next summer. What do you anticipate happens there? That's a lot of money that's going to be allotted for two players.
Yeah, about $338 million, I believe, is the number right now for Jason Tatum over a long-term deal, and he's going to get it. And look, these contracts, they're eye-popping right now, but in 2 years, they're going to look a little bit better. In 4 years, they're going to look a lot better. Listen, it was just 7 years ago that Mike Conley signed the richest contract in NBA history, and that was for $153 million. Jaylen Brown just doubled that. You know, when other stars come up for long-term contracts, they're going to do better, just like Jaylen Brown did better than what Nikola Jokic did in his last deal. And if you think about it, we're kind of trending towards, and I don't know what the date is going to be, who the players are going to be, but we're getting close to the $1 million per game player. We're getting close to the day when we see players earn $82 million or more per season. So while these numbers are breathtaking right now, it's probably not going to look that way when this contract is up for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I can't wait for that guy to get load managed for a week and make $4 million sitting around doing nothing. Chris Mannix, senior Sports Illustrated writer, NBC Sports Boston, with us. We've heard so many trade rumors around Jaylen Brown over the years. First, it was for Anthony Davis, and then he was involved in a Kevin Durant convert. Is that over now? Are you fairly confident he's going to spend this contract as a Celtic?
No, I don't think you can ever be confident of that because, you know, both sides could decide they want something else at some point during the duration of this contract. The Celtics, look, they believe in Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Last year was a disappointment, but they believe, you know, based on what they've seen, you know, with a year ago being in the finals, that this duo can be the core of a championship team. And they're committed at this point to building around them. But if something comes up, if something big happens, like it was with Anthony Davis when he was out there and Jaylen Brown was in those rumors, with Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard years back, Jaylen Brown was in that mix. I don't think the Celtics will just outright, you know, dismiss the possibility of doing future deals. And similarly, while Jaylen Brown is making a strong commitment to the Celtics by signing this contract without any player options, we've seen, you know, high-profile examples of how contracts are irrelevant. I mean, Kevin Durant asked for a trade for forever playing a second on his new deal. Damian Lillard, I think, is still 2 years away from playing a minute on the new contract he signed last summer on his new max-level deal before negotiating a deal out of Washington. So at some point, if it's not working for either side, you know, there could be some movement there. But right now, Jaylen Brown, he's making a commitment to Boston. The Celtics, at this moment, are of the belief that this Brown-Tatum core can win them a title.
Chris, when everyone was diagnosing what went wrong for Boston in the playoffs, a lot of people pointing fingers at their head coach, Joe Mazzulla. Now, the Celtics made it clear that he's their head coach moving forward. However, if the Celtics were to fall short yet again this season of winning an NBA championship, do you think Mazzulla could be on the chopping block? How hot is his seat?
I think it depends on how they lose, but I've never believed last year, and I said this and I wrote this and I talked about it a lot, I never believed that Joe Mazzulla was in any real trouble. I mean, Joe Mazzulla is the closest thing that Brad Stevens has to a protege. Brad Stevens was then hired him for his first NBA coaching job. He made sure he was retained on Ime Udoka's coaching staff, and then he was the one that elevated him over more experienced coaches last year when this team needed a head coach after Udoka's exit. So Brad Stevens is a big believer in Joe Mazzulla. I think what happened this offseason was that now Joe Mazzulla has an assistant coaching staff that is on the level of other top-level teams. I mean, last year, because of the brain drain in Boston, where not just Ime Udoka left, but Will Hardy left, Damon Stoudemire left, you had some other coaches, lesser coaches exit that staff. It wasn't an elite coaching staff. This offseason, they went out and they added Charles Lee, who is a future head coach in the NBA, one of the top assistants right now, and they add Sam Cassell, who brings a level of gravitas to that bench that they haven't really had since Walter McCarty left. That was years ago. So I think right now, Joe Mazzulla finally has the kind of coaches around him that you need to be a championship team. Head coaches are important, don't get me wrong, but you also need great coaches around him, and I think Joe Mazzulla finally has that.
Chris, the next time we see Harden and Lillard, what uniforms are they wearing?
Well, as we speak in, late July at the moment, I don't see anything getting done anytime soon. The offers to Portland from Miami are not acceptable. The offers that the Sixers have received for James Harden, most notably from the Clippers, are not acceptable. And my understanding is neither Joe Cronin in Portland or Daryl Morey in Philadelphia is going to do a deal that they don't believe is acceptable. They're not just going to do a deal, in other words, to offload this problem, to not have to go to training camp with a distraction on the roster. Both these GMs, most notably in Portland, but Daryl in Philly too, this is a once-in-a-generation type moment. The Blazers, you only get one shot at dealing a player the caliber of Damian Lillard. And even if there aren't offers for him right now, that doesn't mean there won't be offers 3 months from now or 6 months from now. And I think that's what the Blazers are committed to. And if you're Philadelphia, why would you do a deal that doesn't bring back exactly what you want? Because the worst-case scenario is that you bring back a motivated James Harden, if only for self-preservation. He's an expiring contract. And you give yourself flexibility next summer when Harden and Tobias Harris comes off the books. So I think as we talk right now in late July, if nothing changes, it feels like both these guys will be in training camp with their respective teams.
Last thing for Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated senior writer and NBC Sports Boston NBA analyst. I want to stick in Philadelphia and ask you about Joel Embiid. He was quoted as saying, I don't know where it's going to be in regards to him winning a championship, whether that's in Philly or anywhere else. What did you read into those comments? Do you think Embiid is opening the door to potentially leave the 76ers?
Yeah, I think he opened the door. And look, Embiid tried to walk it back on Twitter. The Sixers did some damage control on the radio. But Joel Embiid's one of the smartest players in the league. He knew exactly what he was doing and knew exactly what he was saying when he said what he said in that moment. I personally think Joel Embiid needs to have some accountability himself. They were up 3-2 on Boston at home, and they lost. And he disappeared in the final minutes of Game 6, and he disappeared in the second half of Game 7. That's on him. He's the MVP. He's got to step up in moments like that in the way that Jaylen Brown stepped up in Game 7 for the Celtics, the way that Jason Tatum stepped up in the closing minutes of Game 6. There's got to be some accountability there. The Sixers had a championship-level roster. Their championship-level stars, though, notably Harden and Embiid, didn't show up when they needed them the most. But if you're Philadelphia, you do have to take that as kind of a warning shot, that if this team doesn't show that it's on a championship level next season, Embiid, who's got, I think, 3 years left on his contract through the 26th season, he could go to Philadelphia next summer and say, look, it's not working. Deal me. And look, if you look around the NBA, teams are waiting for that. The Knicks are keeping their powder dry with trades because they're waiting. The Celtics, they still have a lot of draft capital they could deal. There are other teams out there that could put together an appetizing offer for Joel Embiid. So I think this is a pretty important year for Philadelphia to kind of get it together and show Joel Embiid they have a long-standing title-contending team.
Never a lack of drama in the NBA. Be sure to follow Chris Mannix on social media at SI Chris Mannix. Chris, great information. Thanks for the time.
You got it, guys.
All right, Aaron. Well, with Jaylen Brown getting paid, let's talk number twos in the NBA. Where does Jaylen Brown, in your opinion, rank among the best number twos in the league?
Well, funny you should mention this, Michelle, because I happened to put together my own personal top 5 list.
I had no idea. Amazing.
The top 5 number twos in the NBA. So let's get it rolling with number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, I have Darius Garland of the Cavs, and some might say that this is homerism with me being in Cleveland. But I really like that backcourt with him and Donovan Mitchell, and I think Garland has proven that he can take over a playoff game. I think he's proven that he's an all-star in the NBA. And I think any team would be really lucky to have him. You know what's funny? Everybody made a big deal about Zion and Ja. You know the guy I think everybody would want the most from that draft right now, given Zion's injury situation and Ja's off-the-court situation? I think it's actually the number 2 in the NBA, Darius Garland.
Number 4.
Number 4, I got Bam Adebayo. I have so much respect for the Heat organization. Bam is tough. Bam is a great rebounder. Bam is also, I think, a big game player. And I think someday he not only will get to the finals, but he'll be a champion. I think he's kind of underrated because people might say, oh, who's the real number 2? You know, the other guys that had big performances behind Jimmy Butler. I think it is Bam, and I think the Heat are really lucky to have him. And I think he is the number 4 ranked number 2 in the NBA.
Number 3.
I have Jaylen Brown third. I do think he's a top 5 number 2, but I don't think he's the best number 2 in the league. What I like about him is he can be instant offense. I trust him shooting the 3. I think he is an underrated and really good defensive player. What I don't like about him is I don't trust him to handle the ball in the fourth quarter of a big game at all. He's got to cut down on the turnovers. There are times where you watch him where it looks like he doesn't know how to dribble, but it's good enough to be the number 3 ranked number 2 in all of basketball.
Number 2.
The number 2 ranked 2 is going to go to Anthony Davis. Now, this was tough for me. Some might say that LeBron's really but get out of here. LeBron isn't taking a backseat to anybody.
Absolutely not.
There are times where Anthony Davis plays like one of the best players in basketball in the whole league. And there are times where he just totally disappears. He's a complete enigma, but because of the potential upside of what he can be, and I do think overall he stayed healthy and was more good than bad in the playoffs this past year, leading the Lakers back to the Western Conference Finals. He takes my spot at number 2 on the list of number 2s in the NBA.
Number 1.
And I got Devin Booker at the top. He blew me away in that Nuggets series. He had to go crazy just for the Suns to win 2 games in the series. And in games 3 and 4, he shot like 90%, not from the free throw line, from the floor. He was shooting 85, 90%. I think he's instant offense. Obviously, he has a 70-point game on his resume in his career. But beyond that, I think he is one of the great just give him the ball and let him go get a bucket late game guys. And I think he is the number 2 on this team because I don't think, like LeBron, I don't think Kevin Durant takes a backseat to anybody. So I've got Devin Booker of the Suns as my number 1 ranked number 2 in the league. So my top 5, Darius Garland in Cleveland, Bam Adebayo, Miami, Jaylen Brown of the Celtics, Anthony Davis of the Lakers, and Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Michelle.
Okay, 888-SAY-ESPN. This 888-729-3776. If you'd like to weigh in on Aaron Goldhammer's top 5 number 2s in the NBA. No Jamal Murray? The champ would like a word.
I love Jamal Murray. Never made an all-star team. And I think maybe he's got to prove that he can stay healthy for more than just 1 year.
But he got it done.
So I think he's on. He's got the best number 1 there is, and I think that guy.
Larry O'Brien would like a word.
So James Harden, get out. I don't even know what team he plays for, so I don't know if he's a number 2 or a number 3 or a number 6. To be honest, I think he just ordered a number 6 at a local fast food restaurant.
Oh, Aaron, low blow there. But what if he's back in Philly with Embiid? He's not on the list.
He had a good regular season. In the playoffs, you can't trust James Harden. He's 3 for 14 in a Game 7, guaranteed.
But isn't everything you're saying about Harden also applicable to Anthony Davis?
No. I
don't know if the pendulum swings both ways. I believe Anthony Davis has a ring
on his finger. I know it's a bubble ring and no one wants to give him credit.
That's true.
Davis has shown up in more big games, I think, than James Harden has. I'll tell you the toughest omission. Domantas Sabonis had a great year. Sacramento had a great year, and I think De'Aaron Fox is the number 1 on that team, so that was a really tough one for me. I'm not a Karl Towns guy. I didn't consider him for 1 second. And get out of here with anybody who believes Kyrie Irving should be on the. For me, he's the worst number 2. He is a number 2, if you know what I mean. I don't mean to get into personal attacks, but geez, I can't take Kyrie seriously and put him on this list. These are really good players. Here's some of the best players in the league that made this list.
Well, the phone lines are blowing up, Aaron, with people that want to talk to you about the list. Let's go to Ryan first, who joins us from Reno. Ryan, welcome to Canty Carlin.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm not sure how Klay Thompson didn't find that list, but that's what I got to say about that.
It's not 7 years ago, Ryan. I mean, this is Klay Thompson off a torn Achilles. This is Klay Thompson off a torn ACL. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Klay's game. One of the Splash Brothers, one of the best shooters of all time. If you watched him this past year, he's just not the same guy anymore.
Another Ryan joining us, this time from Alabama. Ryan, who do you think that Aaron left off the list?
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know how you leave off. I'm assuming it would be Paul George for the Clippers if you got Kawhi at 1. I mean, I guess because of his health, but I've got to have Paul George on that list somewhere.
I mean, don't those guys have to play any games together more than 5 before you consider Paul George the number 2? When he plays, Michelle, it feels like he's often the number 1 because Kawhi is never there. So in order to qualify as a number 2, you have to play a lot of games as a number 2, which I don't think Paul George does.
All right, let's take one more. Skylar in Ohio. Skylar, who do you think that Aaron left off the list?
What's up, Sky?
It's not so much about off the list. I got an issue with Anthony Davis. The man is nicknamed Street Clothes.
Well, I mean, in the playoffs this year, he was in uniform and it helped really knock out the defending champs. Yeah, he's got health concerns. Guess what? So does everybody. It's the NBA. Everybody either gets hurt or is tired or wants to load manage. So I understand that people are disappointed in the lack of Davis's consistency. He has a championship ring on his finger. He's one of the best defensive players in the league when he's healthy. To me, he was an automatic that you had to put on here.
When he's healthy, though, that's a question. And like I said, the pendulum swings both ways with him. Sometimes he's the best player on the floor, no question. And then other times you're wondering where he is.
Yeah. Chris Middleton, I just feel like he's past his prime. He'd have been on this list 2 years ago, but not now. Jaren Jackson is an interesting one. But again, the Ja situation sort of makes that.
Yeah.
And he's a unique number 2 in the sense that he's a dominant defensive player, but is not really like a number 2 scoring option, which is how I sort of see the question that we were posed here. Anyway, I know it's controversial. Those are my top 5. Argue with me all day. Darius Garland, Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker.
Yeah, argue with them. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. We want you to weigh in. Who's the best number 2 in the NBA? Do you think Aaron Goldhammer got it right? That's coming up next. Plus, Michigan's Jim Harbaugh in the news today, facing a 4-game suspension. We're going to talk about all of that next on Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
Grady.
If being on Hard Knocks creates any problems for this team, then they were going to have them anyway. You are the most interesting team in the NFL, and the Jets should embrace that.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
Stevie J Broadcasting has enjoyed giving you details about our Champaign County Fair in progress now.
Hi, I'm Katie Landers from Fisher, your new Champaign County Fair Queen.
I'm Mackenzie Holst from St. Joe, your Little Miss.
Some of my favorite fair foods at the Champaign County Fair are the lemonade shake-ups.
And some of my favorite foods at the fair are lemonade shake-ups and elephant ears.
Explore the livestock barns and see our local 4-H in action.
I love showing my cattle at the Champaign County Fair, and my cow's name is Charlie.
Wrap up the festivities on Saturday, July 29th with the tractor and semi-truck pulls. Make sure to hit the carnival and purchase your unlimited ride bracelet.
The Brothers Osborne signed a poster and guitar for our Ultimate Fan giveaway before the concert on Friday, July 28th with special guest Matt Stell. We're keeping it cool with the giveaways this summer on our hot shows. Thanks for making us part of your Sounds of the Summer season. Learn more at StevieJay.com.
As the summer temperatures rise, make sure your energy bills stay low. Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing to upgrade to a high-efficiency Lennox air conditioner. Dogtown offers financing, including 0% no interest for qualifying customers. And if you have rooms in your house that don't seem to stay cool, call and ask about the great rebates on the Daikin Douglas mini splits. Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing at 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Join the Eastern Illinois Parrot Head Club for the Back to the Prairie 23 event on Tuesday, August 1st. The fun is happening from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Briggs Beer Company in Urbana with food, drinks, raffles, and live music by local band The Boat Drunks. Buy your tickets now or at the door for only $10. Proceeds will benefit the Developmental Services Center of Illinois. Visit dsc-illinois.org and click on the Fundraisers tab for more details.
The Girl Scouts of Central Illinois are excited to host the premier event, Diamonds, Desserts, and Distinction, on Thursday, August 24th. The evening will feature Girl Scout cookie-inspired desserts, the recognition of area female first responders as the 2023 Women of Distinction, and more. Funds raised through the event will support local Girl Scout programs that teach essential life skills. Don't miss this special event on Thursday, August 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the City View Banquet and Meeting Center. Get tickets and find out more at getyourgirlpower.org.
It's Emily Atkins. She owns something called Happy Healing. Tell me about what you have planned coming up.
September 9th, we have our spiritual spa day. We have 3 wellness practitioners coming. We have Brenda, who does sound bowl healings with crystal bowls, Drea, who does facials, and we have Emily, who does massages. So we'll be selling tickets, and so you'll have a half hour of each, and then I'll be there and we can make candles too. You can go to the website, happyhealing.us.
Here's what somebody recently said at Pards in Urbana. I was there just a few minutes, and somebody came up and asked if I needed help. And they were incredible, helping me find the size of boot I needed, and then I bought a second pair too. Everything was friendly. Everything was excellent. Visit Pards in Urbana, 206 North Maple, between Main and University in Urbana. It's Pards Western Shop since 1968. Or go online and visit pards.com, pards.com. Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
About the situation is that relationship between Saquon and the upper brass was not in a great place.
Yeah.
And I said it last week, Freddie. I literally left the conversation thinking to myself, I don't think Saquon's going to be a Giant after next year. Unless the New York Giants buy in a big way. But, I mean, he has a 1-year deal now to prove it. But I still think it feels like a slap in the face for him.
And they literally put Saquon Barkley through a little bit of a ringer for a 1-year deal. $11 million.
A public ringer, though.
That is.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that leaked.
That is
stating that he was not the type of leader.
That is very
that he
true.
was greedy. That he was selfish.
Yep.
And I am telling people from hearing him talk that rubbed him the wrong way.
As
because
it
if you
should.
know anything about Saquon, that's not how he holds himself.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-375-2830. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-375-2830 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-375-2830 to see if you qualify. That's 800-375-2830.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bronny James, the 18-year-old son of Lakers superstar LeBron James, is hospitalized in stable condition a day after going into cardiac arrest during a USC basketball practice. Boston's backed up the Brinks truck for Brown. Celtics and shooting guard Jaylen Brown agreed to the richest deal in NBA history. ESPN's Mark Spears reports 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension. ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
Jaylen Brown is a guy that is scratching the surface of his prime, and I think he will continue to get better and better and better. But at the end of the day, he always have to remember he's playing in the city of champions, and all they give a damn about is winning championship.
Michigan and the NCAA in discussions about a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension for football coach Jim Harbaugh to start the season, tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into the Wolverines. The Cowboys and star corner Trayvon Diggs finalizing a 5-year, $97 million extension, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, $42 million guaranteed. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, coming back from elbow surgery, cleared to take part in practice.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Breaking news, Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown's agreed to the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension.
Back the Brinks truck up.
It has to be go time.
Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics agreeing to the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $304 million Supermax contract extension. I'm Michelle Smallman. He's Aaron Goldhammer. It's Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And even though Jaylen Brown broke the bank, Aaron Goldhammer doesn't even think he's the best number 2 in the NBA. He just gave his list, and the phone lines are blowing up, Aaron. People want to debate you. They want to talk about the list. So before we take some calls, and you can always call us at 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. For those who are just joining us, Aaron, can you please revisit the list?
You know what? I can, and I considered things during the break, and I've decided not to make any changes to the list. All right?
Okay,
Darius
good.
Garland at number 5 of the Cavs. Bam Adebayo of the Heat at number 4. I do have Jaylen Brown 3rd. I mean, there's some big stars in this league. I have Anthony Davis of the Lakers at 2. I know that's a controversial one because of the injuries and a little bit of inconsistency. I feel like the expectation for Anthony Davis is that he plays like the MVP, which is kind of unfair. We're making a list of number 2s, not of MVP candidates. And then I have Devin Booker of the Suns as a guy who is the number 2 on his team. I firmly believe that, but I also believe that he could win the MVP this year. I think he's that good.
Well, let's take some calls of people who disagree with you. That sounds fun. Let's go first to Justin in Montana. Justin, what do you think about Aaron Goldhammer's list? Who might he have left off?
What's up, Justin?
I can't believe that you took the time to revisit the list and you still kept Darius Garland over Kyrie. Personality aside, Kyrie Irving's got to be on that list. Point guard. He's just a pure better basketball player than Darius Garland.
As one of the best number 2s or as one of the most destructive teammates in NBA history? Which list were we making? I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, how many teams is he going to ruin before everybody wraps their head around who Kyrie has become?
But the handle.
Boy, that dude can fancy dribble. That is for dang sure.
So no consideration of putting Kyrie on the list. Was he even in consideration for you?
He was not, but I will say
wow.
something nice about
Surprising.
Kyrie. Can I say something nice about Kyrie?
I would love you to.
Uncle Drew is not that bad.
That's what you had to say?
Have you seen the Uncle Drew?
Yes, of course.
And I got to tell you, it is better than that Space Jam 2, I think. I would take Uncle Drew just by a nose.
Man.
I think it's one of the best movies starring an NBA basketball player ever made. It might be top 5. If we did the top 5 list of movies starring NBA basketball players, it might make the list at number 5 or number 4.
Stay tuned for that list later in the show. Let's get to Chase in Boston, who also has an issue with Aaron Goldhammer's list. Aaron, you're just doing takes on takes on takes today. I love it. Chase, what do you have for Aaron?
The flames coming out of the microphone. What's up, Chase?
I just got to say, I have no idea how you don't have Jamal Murray over Garland. The 2023 NBA champion over a first-round exit to the Knicks. Come on, man.
Well, look, you want to give Jamal Murray all the credit for the Nuggets winning the title, and I love Jamal Murray, and I'm from Denver originally, but they kind of did have I think they won because of their number one guy, of all. He's the best player in the world. So if I'm making a list of the best players in the world, the guy from the Nuggets is number 1 on that list. The way I kind of look at this is, which number 2 would I most want to take and be my number 1? And if Jamal Murray's the best player on your team, I think you're about a 25-win team. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he stinks. I'm just telling you I don't think he could ever fit as a number 1 guy, whereas I think a Devin Booker-led team could be a 56-win team that's a 2 or 3 seed in their conference.
True, but based on what we saw in the playoffs, I'm just surprised he wasn't on the list and Bam Adebayo was. I think Bam's a great player, but I don't know how you could put him in this conversation above Jamal Murray after what we saw in the playoffs.
Doesn't it say something? Look, and in the playoffs and in the bubble, Murray was fantastic. Doesn't it say something about him that he's never made an all-star team? Isn't that a little revealing? And I think he will, at points in his career. And maybe we do this list, we revisit this in February, and the list is completely different. But I just think you have to look beyond the most recent playoff series that you've watched when you try to take a look at who fits where and who's best fit. Like, imagine if Booker was the number 2 to Jokic. You think that team would have won the title?
Oh, geez, of course.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on. They absolutely would. Well, a guy whose name is always tied with the word playoff, not the NBA playoffs, but the college football playoff, is Jim Harbaugh. And there's some news today around Jim Harbaugh. So the Michigan head football coach and the NCAA are in discussions, Aaron, about a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension in the 2023 season. This is tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into Michigan. Harbaugh is facing a level 1 violation, which is the most serious kind in the NCAA's purview, for not cooperating with NCAA enforcement. Now, this goes back to COVID times when there were restrictions and in recruiting, and he violated them during the dead period. And the initial investigation into Michigan concluded 4 level 2 violations, which are less significant in scope. So what was your thought when you heard that Harbaugh facing a 4-game suspension?
I don't want to hear any Michigan fan tell me that this isn't that big of a deal because of the nature of the violations. That's not the problem, Michelle. The problem is the lying, right? It's not that Jim Tressel let his players get free tattoos. The problem was that he then in turn lied to the NCAA about it. So it's the lying that's the issue. It's the dishonesty that's the issue. Beyond that, suspending him for a bunch of games against East Carolina and UNLV, is this a suspension or is it a vacation? Because I think actually he just gets to extend his summer break a little bit, and I don't know that this is really even punishment. You want to suspend him for 4 games, suspend him for Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, and the college football playoff. Don't suspend him for East Carolina and Rutgers. That's ridiculous.
East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. Those are the first 4 home contests, and that's what Jim Harbaugh would have to
How are they going to do it against Bowling Green without Harbaugh's brain on the bench? I mean, I really wonder What plays are they going to call? What are they going to do? Are they going to go for it on fourth down? Or I'll say this about Harbaugh. He has beaten Ohio State, which means he can get away with virtually anything in Ann Arbor. I don't think they really want to punish him beyond this. But I do think that he's kind of sick of college football.
You think so?
I think that he is going to be coaching in the NFL next season. I think that this is his last year at Michigan. For this year, just based on recent successes, Jim Harbaugh is the best coach in the conference. They've beaten Ohio State 2 years in a row. They've been very consistent, and they've been to the playoff 2 years in a row. So I would take Jim Harbaugh number one as the best coach in the conference and one of the 5 best coaches in the country, just if I'm looking at football. I think he's a really strange dude. And Michelle, explain this to me. Why did he feel the need to lie about this? The infractions weren't even that big of a deal. Like what the hubris to just walk in and say, yeah, I'm just going to totally lie.
Yeah, about the recruiting dead period during COVID. You're right. But I don't know Jim Harbaugh personally, but I think a lot of these head coaches, Aaron, they just feel like they're above the rules sometimes, or they don't think that certain things apply to them. Mm-hmm. And I think that this might be more of an embarrassment for Jim Harbaugh than an actual punishment levied by the NCAA, because you're right. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Michigan's the prohibited favorite in all of those games. They will likely win all of those games, no problem, without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline. This is more about embarrassing him publicly. But all those games are going to be on Big Ten Network at like 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know how embarrassing it really is. For Urban Meyer, that's really, the suspension that he faced was a big blow to his ego and also to his reputation. I don't know that anybody is saying that this is a major blow to the way Harbaugh is perceived and viewed. Oh, I think collectively it'll just be a footnote, but this is the guy that wears khakis and drinks the milk and he presents himself as one of these wholesome guys. So for him to be caught publicly, with the suspension, with the lying, I think it does take a little bit of an ego. Does the replacement coach have to wear the khakis also? I say yes. Oh, I say yes, too. Why not? If you're going to fill the shoes, you have to fill the khakis as well. You know what I mean? He's Aaron Goldhammer. I'm Michelle Smallman. And coming up next here on Canteen Carlin, it's our ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Is Kyler Murray still a franchise quarterback? We'll talk about it next year on ESPN Radio.
Camp to camp, every run, team to team.
It's on this field where fortunes are made or lost.
Continuing coverage. The countdown to kickoff rolls on. 44 days until the NFL season begins.
Yeah, I like football season, all the things that go with it.
The NFL lives here. ESPN Radio.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, Vicinity, and it's a good old-fashioned heat wave weather pattern that continues to build on in for the next several days, with temperatures topping out the mid-90s, heat index values up past 100, and still the threat for a couple of thunderstorms, especially through the middle and late portions of the week. Weak cool front here over the course of the weekend will drop temperature and humidity levels down by early next week, and it's a rinse and repeat forecast. A little more heat and humidity, more storms next week, too. 90 today, just a slim chance for a shower thunderstorm late late. Warm and humid tonight. Best chance for a thunderstorm well after midnight tonight, down to 72. And a partly sunny, hot, humid day tomorrow. A couple of showers, thunderstorms will roam parts of the year tomorrow, both morning and afternoon. Highs at around 93. Thunderstorm chance again, morning and late afternoon. Thursday at 94. 96, better chance for a thunderstorm late in the day Friday into Saturday. Highs up to about 94 on Saturday, near 90 Sunday and Monday. More storms due in again for late Monday and Tuesday of next week. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
As our nation celebrates its 247th birthday this July, Gale Frericks Trucking is extending a firecracker of a deal to professional Class A CDL drivers interested in joining our team. In addition to our standard offering of great percentage pay, paid holidays and vacations, pre-planned dispatches, benefits, home time every weekend, and $1,200 per week gross pay guarantee, drivers that join us in the month of July will receive an additional $247 per week for the first 16 weeks with us. Take the family out to dinner when you're home every weekend, or use it as a Christmas fund. It doesn't matter to us. This is America, and you have the freedom to do with it what you want. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to explore our regional van and flatbed opportunities and work for a company that works as hard for you as you do for them, call Tim at 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com.
Hey, it's Stevie J, Stever Day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the program where I, Stevie J, give you my money and you spend it and keep the stuff. Today we're going to Carpet Weavers, our Market View in Champaign. If you are interested in $500 to go spend there, that's it. There are two catches. You have to get in there within 7 days to begin the process, and then you got to fill out the survey when you're done. $500 could be yours by simply texting in Carpet Weavers to 217-359-2255. Maybe you want to redo the bathroom or the kitchen or carpeting for the living room, or maybe you want a couch. They have furniture too. So it's an incredible offer of $500. That would be 10 Ulysses S. Grants or 5 Benjamin Franklins, however you'd like to break it down. It's from Carpet Weavers in Champaign. All you have to do is text in Carpet Weavers 217-359-2255, and you might get $500, no strings attached, to spend at Carpet Weavers. Good luck.
Experience food, drinks, and fun at the grand reopening of Champaign's favorite sports bar, Pia's. Whether you're up for their famous Slugger Burger, never-ending nachos, having a drink with your friends, or watching your favorite sports team, Pia's has you covered. After the forced renovation undergone on the local pub, it's the perfect time to celebrate a return to normal and bring the community together. Don't miss the grand reopening at Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Yeah, I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
I know, everyone's still talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, I earn back up to 25 cents a gallon every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
It sure does. I've made over $300 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR3 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR3 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR3 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, let's go do our job, man.
NFL Nation Two-A-Days on ESPN Radio. The Arizona Cardinals
Blue 58, go!
Josh Weinfuss, the Arizona Cardinals. As the Cardinals begin training camp this week, the biggest storyline, without a doubt, will be the status of quarterback Kyler Murray. Out since December with a torn ACL, Murray has been fiercely rehabbing his right knee, but there isn't a time frame for his return. Head coach Jonathan Gannon has said Murray won't play till he's physically and mentally ready, which means Murray's every move will be watched at camp. Every time he steps on the field, every time he jogs, and every time he throws will be broken down and dissected in an effort to glean any tidbit of information about his status for the 2023 season.
Countdown to kickoff with NFL Nation Two-A-Days on ESPN Radio.
We do continue our ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days with the Arizona Cardinals, and ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Michelle Smallman. He's Aaron Goldhammer. And Aaron, when we look at the Arizona Cardinals, we've been asking this question for all of these teams. What does success look like this year? For the Arizona Cardinals, what is it to you? Is it win totals? Is it Kyler Murray returning and looking like he could be the guy? Is it them being in a draft position to draft Caleb Williams? What do you think success will be for the Cardinals this season?
About 2-15. Maybe you get rid of Jonathan Gannon because he just seems like a weird dude. We need to spend some time on that. And then, yeah, I mean, I think drafting Caleb Williams would be amazing for their franchise. Let's start with Kyler because I feel like he was, a couple of years ago they started 7-0. He was one of the hottest things in all of football, and then I think the success, Michelle, went to his head. And when people start questioning your work ethic and there are clauses in contracts about the amount of video games you play, and I just think the relationship is soured so much that I'm not sure Kyler Murray really ever plays another game, to be honest with you, for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm wondering, we still don't know the timeline. We don't know when he's expected to return from that ACL injury. And I'm wondering if he's going to play the entire season, even if he's ready. I don't know if it's beneficial for him. Yeah, why risk it? And if I'm the Arizona Cardinals and what is, for all intents and purposes, a transitional season, I don't care about wins. I want to get through the season implementing my culture and implementing my scheme with this new regime. And I'm hoping that we're in a position to take Caleb Williams at the end of it all. And
agreed.
Talk about revitalizing a franchise. If Kyler doesn't play, he's in a better position moving forward with another team. To me, that's what success looks like. If at the end of this, you have some hope for the future and that hope comes in the package of Caleb Williams, I think that's successful.
So I think they're the least talented team in the league. So I think they should finish with the worst record. The problem with that is if you finish with the second worst record, the outlook looks totally different. I don't know who the second. Are you taking Drake May and feeling the same way as you did about Caleb Williams? The other thing is that the coaching hire to me is a really curious one. Did you see the videos of Jonathan Gannon meeting his players at the start of the offseason at the Cardinals facility? And he was making weird he was going like, "Oh, good to see you. Pew, 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 pew. You're all over the field." Like, he was almost like a fan meeting them. Like, I don't know, Gannon, like, say hi? Like, these are people.
Yeah.
Like, why do you feel the need to play to some camera or something?
There we go. So I'm giving him a little bit of runway because we all thought Dan Campbell was putting it on. And, he's talking about biting kneecaps. He's drinking the Trenta Espresso. I mean, the coffee order is ridiculous. We all thought Dan Campbell was kind of the same way. And now we all love him. We think that he's great. And look where he has the Lions. So I would give him a little bit more runway. And by the way, according to ESPN's matchup predictor, Aaron, the Cardinals are an underdog in every single game they're going to play this season.
Nah, I don't think they'll go winless, but they are going to be bad. And thus endeth our Arizona Cardinals conversation for the year on ESPN Radio.
And that's talking Arizona Cardinals. He's Aaron Goldhammer. I'm Michelle Smallman. And coming up next on Canty and Carlin, did Saquon get played by the Giants? We'll talk about it next on ESPN Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores. Get in the zone, AutoZone. See details at AutoZone.com.
Every piece of land has a story.
For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
Stevie J Broadcasting has enjoyed giving you details about our Champaign County Fair in progress now.
Hi, I'm Katie Landers from Fisher, your new Champaign County Fair Queen.
I'm Mackenzie Holst from St. Joe, your little miss.
Some of my favorite fair foods at the Champaign County Fair are the lemonade shake-ups.
And some of my favorite foods at the fair are lemonade shake-ups and elephant ears.
Explore the livestock barns and see our local 4-H in action.
I love showing my cattle at the Champaign County Fair, and my cow's name is Charlie.
Wrap up the festivities on Saturday, July 29th with the tractor and semi-truck pulls. Make sure to hit the carnival and purchase your unlimited ride bracelet.
The Brothers Osborne signed a poster and guitar for our Ultimate Fan giveaway before the concert on Friday, July 28th with special guest Matt Stell. We're keeping it cool with the giveaways this summer on our hot shows. Thanks for making us part of your Sounds of the Summer season. Learn more at StevieJay.com.
Curtis Orchard, Randy explains.
So this is the time of year that we're looking for enthusiastic, energetic employees for our family business. Our employees enjoy each other's company. They enjoy interacting with the public. So we're looking for some capable, friendly, enthusiastic young people and older people alike who want a part-time job to be employees for the season. It means a lot to us that our customers are like family and our employees are like family. We have a lot of employees that have been with us 15 to 20 years. They come back every year, and it's because we all like working together. We all enjoy working together. And even though it gets really frantic in the fall, if you've ever been out there on a fall weekend, you know what I'm talking about. It's just wonderful to get to know your customers, your community, and be able to serve them. So we want friendly people who have the same values that we have, which is caring for people and giving them a great experience while they're out at the farm. You can visit curtisorchard.com and apply online today.
Illini fans, take the opportunity to head down to Game Day Spirit's Green Street location this summer. Shop their awesome selection of Fighting Illini merchandise. While you're there, shop some of their awesome buy one, get one free t-shirt designs, as well as their Nike section and so much more. With new styles coming in daily, there's sure to be something for every Illini fan. Shop at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
Hi, I'm Steve with Restoration Urban Ministries, and we have a desperate need. We have a building that's coming down, and we have to put up another one. But we have you, and we have God on our side. So August the 12th, we are going to have at Hessel Park in Champaign, family, food, and fun. We're going to have 5 to 10 different church bands playing. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have testimonies. We're going to have food. We're going to have sausages and barbecue and corn on the cob, all kinds of summertime treats. And we're going to have a lot of fun going on. We have different games for the kids. So we're counting on you to come and join us and participate and help us raise money for a new building in Jesus' name. You can come and visit us at www.restorationurbanministries.org. Family, food, and fun at Hessel Park, August the 12th. We'll see you there.
Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Streaming only on Hulu.
Josh Jacobs was the other NFL running back on the franchise tag, and he has not signed it with the Las Vegas Raiders after he led the league in rushing a season ago. In fact, With training camp starting, he left town. With the news of Saquon Barkley signing this one-year deal, Jacobs' negotiating position now got weakened even more. He may sit out during training camp, but now if you're going to sit out during the regular season, you absolutely run the risk of becoming the next Le'Veon Bell. That is not a good thing. Today, Josh Jacobs is probably taking Saquon Barkley off of his Christmas card list. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat from Canty and Carlin, I'm Chris Carlin.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bronny James, the 18-year-old son of Lakers superstar LeBron James, hospitalized in stable condition a day after going into cardiac arrest during a USC basketball practice. Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown's agreed to the richest deal in NBA history, reports ESPN's Mark Spears, 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension. And winning a title remains the only acceptable option for Boston, notes NBC Sports Boston analyst Chris Minix.
The Celtics have been to an NBA Finals. They were back in the conference finals last year. Jaylen Brown's going to be 27 years old. Jason Tatum just a couple of years behind him. This team is now, with the money these guys are getting paid, what the payroll looks like around them, it really is championship or bust.
NBC Sports Boston's Chris Mannix on Canty and Carlin. Michigan and the NCAA in discussions about a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension for football coach Jim Harbaugh to start the season. It's tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into the Wolverines.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you haven't take problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a Chris ain't one. Hit me.
This is Canty and Carlin.
Joe Shane and John Mara just played Saquon Barkley like an absolute fiddle on all of his emotions in wanting to still be here. If it was so important for him to continue to be a Giant, why wouldn't he have signed the deal back during the season, which was for $12.5 million a year? Why wouldn't he have signed the deal a few weeks ago, which was for $12.5 million a year plus $22 million guaranteed? They can continue to tell you all they want about Saquon. You're the heart and soul of this team. You're the face of this franchise. We absolutely love you. Words mean absolutely nothing.
This is Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. You can also listen to the show on the ESPN app, your smart speaker, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
I wake up this morning, I roll over, my alarm's going off, I look at my phone. Chris Carlin has tweeted, "My head is going to explode." This is Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app. I'm Aaron Goldhammer. She is Michelle Smallman. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and the normal host of the program joins us now. Chris, why did you feel like your head was on the verge of exploding at 7:45?
Because I hate the idea that Saquon Barkley just did all of this for nothing. For nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's frustrating to me that he would sign this deal and the Giants would play him so easily 2 days after star running backs are having to get together over what a mess their position is right now and how they can't get paid. And if I'm Josh Jacobs, if I'm any other running back in the next few years that's looking to get paid, dude, you just sold us out. You just completely sold us out by agreeing to the deal that you did.
Yeah, Chris, when I
worry. Go ahead, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to say, Chris, when I first saw it, it felt like Saquon Barkley and therefore all of the other running backs waving the white flag, because it seems like he was the guy on the call when all of these top running backs got together to discuss what to do about the landscape of their position and the market moving forward, that he was the one that had the most leverage. So for him agreeing to this deal, it seems like he's acknowledging, and to all of his peers, this isn't going to get any better for us. This is just what we're going to have to do.
Yeah, for me, Michelle, the thing that really set me off is that he did not even get the assurance that they wouldn't tag him next year. Like, it's one thing to admit that we've gotten to this point where I need to sign. I can't sit out next year, this year, because that doesn't help anybody. But at the very least, I'll have some options to go find the one sucker that there always is. If he goes and has a good year, even, the usage that will be used against him in negotiations, somebody's going to pay him thinking he's still got enough left. Now he can't even do that. And what's amazing to me about it is the most, let's just say he does not make all of the incentives, meaning I don't think the Giants are making the playoffs. So if that's the case, the most he's going to make is $12 million next year, 20% more. Do you know that $12 million was the running back franchise tag in 2015? Wow. And now it's 10.09. I mean, think about that. He's going to end up settling for a dollar amount that was the tag 8 years ago. It's unbelievable to me. And the other thing too is just this. They have told him all these things. They have made him feel loved with all of these words, and the words mean nothing because their actions don't reflect it at all. That's really what blows me away.
Yeah, I think he felt caught in the middle, Chris. By that I mean, like, which team is he more loyal to? His Giants teammates or his fellow running backs in the NFLPA? Because I think the long-lasting effect of this is that I already see it when I go to football camps here in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, no one wants to play this position, Chris, because all you do is get beat on, and then you don't make any money. So if you're an elite athlete now, guess what? You want to play DB, wide receiver. You're more likely to get excited about playing offensive guard than you are play running back.
And imagine now, of all the big college coaches in America, imagine a player walking into Nick Saban's office and saying, you know what, I'm not playing running back anymore.
Right?
How's that going to go? Like, Nick, talking about somebody's head exploding, Nick Saban's head is going to explode at that very thought. Because, and frankly, I wouldn't blame the player. If you're a great, great athlete, why would you do that? I mean, quite literally, every other position, including punter and kicker, the franchise tag has gone up virtually every year except for running back. Unbelievable to me.
Chris, we did our our ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days, and we started things off with the Arizona Cardinals. So I wanted to ask you.
Did you lose a bet?
No, but it seems like they're going to lose a lot of games this season. What do you think success looks like for them at the end of the season?
That they actually think that they have a quarterback in Kyler Murray, that somehow he has figured it out, that he has matured, he is healthy, and he is showing that he can be the answer long term. None of those things I expect to happen in any way. We were talking about this earlier, Michelle. The Cardinals are going to be a tough watch this season. And with Murray, I wonder if he will have checked out already by the time he gets back. Is he, like, I want to know, is Kyler Murray a guy that wants to go out now and prove a point because everybody is saying that the Cardinals are tanking to go get Caleb Williams next year? Or is he a guy that is content that he got his money and, all right, well, we'll just figure out where I'm going to play in the future? It's very interesting to me how he handles that when he does come back. And we don't know when we're actually going to see him on the field because of the torn ACL he had in December. I think he can still be a dynamic player, but it's just, where is his maturity? Where does that fit into the equation here?
Yeah, I agree, Carlin. I wonder whether he's thrown his last pass as a Cardinal because for him, why does it make sense to come back and push it in December on a team that has 1 or 2 wins when there's risk of you going out and getting hurt again? And you figure the thirst for quarterback is enough that in 2024, someone's going to want to take Kyler Murray on. I think in a way maybe he's rooting for the Cardinals to be the worst team in the league, them to get Caleb Williams, and then he gets to go to whatever his next destination whatever that looks like, a place that might support him. Because I imagine that he must feel a little betrayed. The fact that those details of that contract with the Call of Duty clause and all of that, the fact that it got out, I think that really sort of betrayed and harmed the relationship between the two sides.
No, I don't think there's any doubt that it did, because somebody felt the need to put it out there. As far as not coming back, I would argue that would be the way to go if he hadn't gotten the money already. But he's gotten the money, and what's the competitive spirit, right? Like, that would tell me, if you're just doing that and you're trying to figure out where you're going in the future and you feel like they've already made up their minds, it doesn't tell me a whole lot that you just decide, all right, we'll pack it in, we'll figure it out next year, we'll go home and, go count the money and figure it out. For me, that's even a red flag for whoever his next employer is. There has to be a need and a want to get back out on the field, and this guy's gotten nothing but knocked here the last couple of years since that happened, and justifiably so. I mean, think about it. Remember that the season had just ended literally the day before when his agent put out that statement about a new contract. Yeah. And that was after year 3, right away. Yeah. Did not waste any time putting it out. That's really what set this into motion, this entire thing. He should be the one that has something to prove here. That might be, pie in the sky, but that's my take on it at the very least.
Well, Chris Carlin, another guy who got paid is Jaylen Brown. He and the Boston Celtics agree to the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year, $304 million Supermax contract extension. We knew that this deal was inevitably going to get done, but I just want to take a look at the Celtics as a whole. When you look at the moves they made this offseason and everything we saw from them at the end of the playoffs and last season, how much better do you think they are? Do you really think that they're going to be competing for an NBA title?
I do. I think the Celtics are the best team in the East. I will be very curious to see if the Heat are actually able to get the Lillard deal done. Then I think it puts them right up there with them. Everybody is making a big deal about the Marcus Smart thing, and I get.
Talking to Chris Carlin on Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio, as he was saying, I think that Smart is a bit the heart and soul of the Celtics, but I wonder if we're going to find out, Michelle, that what we thought he meant sort of spiritually, that actually in practice, the way their offense runs, they're better off without him chucking up a bunch of threes at the end of close games.
You mentioned the heart and soul part of it, though. I wonder if we're going to see that create any sort of a void on this team, right?
Yeah.
Jason Tatum's the best player on the floor, but he's not really that rah-rah in your face, I'm going to check you type leader. Sure. And I think it was beneficial for him to have somebody else in the room that could occupy that position. And if he's required to do that, I just wonder how that might impact him.
Well, look, I think Marcus Smart was listening to the show and got mad at Chris Carlin and kicked him off the air. And now Chris Carlin has responded. He is back. Go ahead and finish the point.
Marcus Smart was overrated. Click. That's basically what just happened. Right. As I was saying, I just think that more than anything, Porzingis is a better player than Marcus Smart is and will have more of a positive impact on the Celtics than Marcus Smart would. I know why people love him, because they always love the scrappers and all that. Listen, it was a no-brainer to make that deal. Yes, you would have rather it was what's the kid from Milwaukee instead. It's just escaping me. Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah. Okay.
You wish that it was him instead, but instead now you made this deal and you had to make this deal. You really did. I think people do really forget about what kind of an impact he's going to have on the defensive end and blocking shots.
Yeah. I wonder, though, for Jaylen Brown to become the richest player in NBA history, it's a pretty amazing headline. Not that he's not a good player, because he is really good. But the numbers, these contracts, Chris, I mean, on the other side of the Saquon thing, we are getting to a point where NBA players are going to be making, Chris Mannix told us earlier, $1 million a game. You're going to see a guy making $82 million. And that counts for the games that he load manages, that player, and the ones that he actually plays.
When you hear this dollar amount, you think this guy must be a top 5 player. Would any of us describe Jaylen Brown as a top 5 player in the league?
No. And that's not to put him down. He is really good.
Yes.
You know, like is there a difference between top 15, top 20? He's somewhere around there. But Michelle was making the point earlier. Michelle, I thought it was a great point that, the Celtics, you're welcome. The Celtics had to do this because at the very least they had to protect the asset. I mean, they may end up trading him and not paying him $69 million, but what was their option? Let him walk?
Yeah, they're not doing that. You're not doing that. He was getting the contract. So I think that that is the interesting thing to me. In 2 years, is he out? I don't think it's just playing with the Celtics. When he was making those comments during the year, I took it more to mean Boston. I took it more to mean that he didn't necessarily love being up there. Now, this could change his mind, at least for the short term. But this really is amazing in the league. I give the Players Union all the credit in the world for being able to position themselves to not only get the money, but then be able to force their way out, and then force their way out only to where they want to go, even if they don't have a no trade, which is amazing. I mean, think about what's going on with Lillard right now. Mm-hmm. In a couple of years, Lillard's going to be making $63 million. He doesn't have a no trade, and yet it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to end up with the Miami Heat. Players in any sport have never and will never have more power than they do right now in the NBA.
It's remarkable. Well, let's stick with contracts, Chris, but swing back to the NFL. So the Cowboys got a deal done, but it wasn't with Zach Martin. Cornerback Trayvon Diggs, 5 years, $97 million extension, $42.3 million guaranteed. That includes $21.25 million in a signing bonus. What do you think this Diggs deal means for Zach Martin, who is still yet to report to training camp?
Well, I think the Cowboys need to get that deal done. I don't think that they should be dragging their feet on that one. It is one of the aspects of their team that is a strength, and you need to make sure that it is a strength. Now, what's interesting to me about Trayvon Diggs is that 2 years ago, he had all the interceptions, but it was pretty clear that you could throw on him. This past year, that really improved a great deal, where teams would not take as many shots because he was doing a much better job. As far as what it means for Martin, if I'm Zach, I got to get my money. I'm sorry. This is where we are with it right now. And it is an important enough situation for the Cowboys to win now. It's been win now for the last 30 years, and they haven't done it. And you could make the argument that this is one of their best chances to do it since the Aikman, Emmett, Irvin years. There were a couple of Romo years in there, the year they lost to the Giants in the divisional round where they very easily could have won a Super Bowl. But and that was 2007. I think this year, when you look at everything they have and how they have improved, especially on defense, and what they have weapon-wise, because I think people overlook Brandon Cooks. He's really good, and he's going to fit really nicely with them. This is a team that has a chance to win, and they cannot screw around with this.
I imagine that both of these deals eventually are going to get done, and, obviously the Diggs one did. Chris, I think their defense is good enough. I think their offensive line is good enough. I think their receivers are good enough. This is going to be a coach and quarterback question for the Cowboys this year. And the NFC is wide open. Don't give me the whole, we had to go through Aaron Rodgers. Yes, they have the Eagles in their division, but they are in the far inferior conference now between the two. And I think it's going to come down to, do you trust Mike McCarthy, and can Dak Prescott come up with the one big drive that he couldn't in the playoff game against San Francisco last year?
To your point, Chris says this all the time. Great players have trouble overcoming bad coaching. And that could be the case with the Cowboys this year. I think they have a lot of really, really good players. And the question will be, is Mike McCarthy going to be a bad coach?
Yeah.
I can't see where he's going to be an upgrade over Kellen Moore in calling the plays. I don't see that. So then it's on Dak. And what's on him? Don't turn the football over. I don't think that Dak has to go out there and be a 40 touchdown guy and 2 interceptions. let's keep the interceptions in the single digits. How about that? If we could do that, I think they're going to be in much, much better shape. I would settle with Dak right now, 30 touchdowns, 8 picks, 4,000 yards. Is that good enough? It should be more than good enough. The numbers, I think, will be bigger than that. But as long as the interceptions are down and he's not turning the football over, they should be fine. If they're not, it is going to be on the coach. You're right.
Chris, the team that will be in their way in the NFC on their path to the Super Bowl will be the 49ers. We got word today that Brock Purdy was cleared without restriction. He's going to be in training camp after that offseason elbow surgery. We always make the joke, it doesn't really matter who's under center in a Kyle Shanahan scheme, but they're certainly in a better position with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. What do you think the San Francisco 49ers chances are of getting to the Super Bowl?
I think they're very good. I would still pick the Eagles over them slightly just because of the quarterback position. But assuming they get the Nick Bosa deal done, because he's not going to practice until he has a deal, and I don't blame him, there's no reason to think that they can't get to the Super Bowl again. The fact that they were able to get as far as they did in that situation last year was just patently absurd and just tells you exactly how good that organization has been run and how good the head coach is. I would put them as the top contender with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. And think about that. We are saying that not knowing definitively who it is on opening day. Yes, but we're saying that with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. That's how good they are everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, Chris, today is National Wine and Cheese Day. It's also,
you're kidding me. Is that true?
It's also National Ice Cream Sundae Day. If you had a choice between a little wine and a little fine cheese or the ice cream sundae the size of your head, and I could grant you one right now, which would you choose?
Well, wine and cheese, and it's a little sentimental, and here's why. In college, we all have no money, right? So when I was a freshman in college, had some friends come up to visit. Collectively, we had $28. I was talking to my brother Dan, and I'm like, what are we going to do here? We got $28 with this group of guys. So I go, this is easy. You go to a wine and cheese party, you go Mad Dog and Kraft American Singles.
Oh.
It was epic. I was hungover for 3 days, and I was picking up those stupid wrappers for the rest of the week.
All over the place.
The wrappers.
I'm sorry. Apologies to the Kraft people. They make a good product.
I love the cheese.
That's not real cheese, though.
Oh, are you an American cheese truther? Are you one of those people that's gonna?
I eat cheddar. That's the Wisconsin.
Must be nice.
In me. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, yeah, must be nice. Look at you.
So fancy.
Chris, great stuff. We'll talk soon. Thank you, buddy.
Mad Dog. And even Velveeta, if you have to, would work.
Ooh, Velveeta. That's a brick of cheese.
Yes, it is.
I can't. Chris Carlin, host of Canty and Carlin here on ESPN Radio. Up next, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott. Who has more at stake this season? We'll discuss. Plus, are we underestimating Bill Belichick? We will get into the Patriots after Michelle has this word from our friends at NHTSA.
We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you might hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
ESPN Radio's NFL Two-A-Days continue. An in-depth preview of every team in the National Football League.
So badly wants to bring the Super Bowl here.
NFL Two-A-Days. 2 teams. Every day. As we storm toward the start of the 2023 NFL season. NFL Two-A-Days continues right here on ESPN Radio.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Happy to honor Lieutenant Catherine Thompson, been with the Champaign Police Department for 16 years. Presently serves as the District Commander for the North Patrol District in Champaign. That means she oversees all patrol operations in the area north of University and east of Prospect.
Catherine, one of the things you are good at is the negotiation aspect of it. How did that come to be?
So it's the gift of gab, right? But really, negotiating is all about listening. So you have to be able to listen to people and be able to put yourself in their shoes. Our big word is empathy. And without empathy, you cannot negotiate.
What does it feel like when you're successful, everybody's safe, and you've captured the bad guy?
That's the greatest feeling, especially for the victim. This is when you see the look on their face of the relief that they feel, then that's when the high fives can begin. You've helped somebody, they feel relief, you see it on their face, and they feel safe now in their own home.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
In 2023, fans welcomed Wilson Contreras to the Cardinals family, and on Saturday, August 5th, we celebrate him with his first gate giveaway. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will go home with their own Wilson Contreras home white Cardinals jersey, courtesy of Stiefel. That's not all. 10,000 fans ages 20 and younger will also receive a baseball card pack thanks to Topps. For details or tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Wilson Contreras. See you at the ballpark.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Illini fans, stock up on great Illini gear this summer at the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, Game Day Spirit. Their famous buy one, get one free shirt selection is perfect for summer and has some great new designs. Shop their line of polos and other business casual apparel from great brands like Nike, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and more. Refresh your wardrobe this summer at Game Day Spirit, located at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow right here in Champaign-Urbana can switch you over so you can start saving today. Kurt and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just give them a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Experience food, drinks, and fun at the grand reopening of Champaign's favorite sports bar, Pia's. Whether you're up for their famous Slugger Burger, never-ending nachos, having a drink with your friends, or watching your favorite sports team, Pia's has you covered. After the forced renovation undergone on the local pub, it's the perfect time to celebrate a return to normal and bring the community together. Don't miss the grand reopening at Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region, and it would not be possible without team members like Dwayne Linton, a nationally certified nurse in the emergency department at Carl Foundation Hospital.
I work with a team of people who really care about what they do and are very flexible and adaptive in rapidly changing critical situations, and I would trust any of them at any time.
If you're looking for an opportunity to serve your community like Dwayne in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
And listen on the ESPN app.
What is that?
My mortgage rate detector. I made it out of an old altimeter alarm. With Navy Federal Credit Union's no refi rate drop option, we could get a lower rate without refinancing our mortgage. So I'm keeping a close eye on mortgage rates. They're dropping. Call Navy Federal.
Buy a home, and if rates drop, you could lower your rate and save thousands. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval and eligibility requirements. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Hey, Jen, sorry I'm late. I had to stop for gas.
Yeah, I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
I know, everyone's still talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, I earn back up to 25 cents a gallon every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
It sure does. I've made over $300 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR3 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR3 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR3 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Ronnie James, the 18-year-old son of Lakers superstar LeBron James, is hospitalized in stable condition a day after going into cardiac arrest during a USC basketball practice. Massive NBA news from ESPN's Mark Spears. Celtics shooting guard Jaylen Brown's agreed to the richest contract in league history, 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension. ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
I do think that this money just basically dictates that this team is on the clock to win a championship because you've invested in him. You have someone that is in MVP contention in Jason Tatum last season. You have better pieces offensively in the post. So the time is now.
Tatum's up for a Supermax next summer. Michigan and the NCAA in discussions about a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension for football coach Jim Harbaugh to begin the season. It's tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into the Wolverines. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports Cowboys and star corner Trayvon Diggs finalizing a $97 million extension, 5 years, $43 million guaranteed. 49ers QB Brock Purdy, coming back from elbow surgery, cleared to participate in practice.
When you're trying to hire, all that searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, the end-to-end hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mike McCarthy is putting his head coaching career on the line. I've worked with head coaches who are play callers. It is difficult.
It's not like we've thrown away our playbook and tried to start over or anything like that. I mean, obviously we've had some success.
It's been good having Mike in there. I think he's going to bring an edge to our offense. We're still going to run the football. It's going to be a big part of what we're doing.
He's won the Super Bowl and he's been to championship games calling plays, so he knows exactly what it takes.
The fact that we're doing this, Mike's calling the plays, this has everything to do with the positiveness around Dak. It's building around Dak.
I feel like this, Michelle, either the Cowboys win and win big this year, or I think they're going to be talking about a new head coach in Big D. Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio, ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Aaron Goldhammer with Michelle Smallman. You could join the conversation. The CC Collin line is open. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Who has more at stake this year, Michelle? Is it Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys, or is it their quarterback, Dak Prescott?
Both have a tremendous amount of pressure on their shoulders, Aaron, but I think the seat is much hotter for Mike McCarthy than it is for Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys fail to meet the ultimate success this season and win a Super Bowl, Mike McCarthy will likely be out of a job. Dak Prescott will not. But, you said something about Mike McCarthy feeling pressure if they don't win a Super Bowl. Hasn't every Dallas Cowboys head coach had the same pressure on him for the past, 10 plus years? Yeah.
Yes.
How many years did we talk about Jason Garrett? Oh, if he goes 8-8 again, Jerry's going to get rid of him. And he didn't. Mike McCarthy is a good coach. And while I do think there's a lot of pressure on him to win because it's Dallas, I don't think that it's any more or less pressure than he likely felt last season.
See, they changed the offensive coordinator because that's something that's easy to do and not make a ton of waves, whereas trying to change quarterbacks, given the contract that Dak has, is really difficult. But if I go back to that San Francisco playoff game, I mean, everybody remembers trying to line Zeke Elliott up at center, whatever the heck that was. Someone's still got to explain to me the idea of that play, which is one of the most things I've ever seen on a football field. Michelle, I really think that game came down to Dak's inability to deliver one drive. They didn't need 35 points. Yeah. They didn't need him to throw 97 gajillion touchdown passes and throw the ball left-handed and bounce it off a guy's head and sidearm. They needed him to come up with one big drive against a good defense, and he couldn't do it. And that's kind of been like 2 or 3 years in a row. And so to me, actually, while McCarthy's job might be at stake, I don't know. I think people will write off Dak Prescott if he gets another opportunity like that, and it's sitting right there for him, and he doesn't deliver.
I'm with you. He's got a lot of pressure on him. And, he even acknowledged when he was talking at his camp about the interceptions, the tipped passes. There's a lot of pressure on him to improve in that way and to be the guy when they need him to be the guy. Yeah. You're paid like a franchise quarterback for a reason, and the pressure is different when you have that star on your helmet and you're QB1 for the Dallas Cowboys. But with all that being considered, Aaron, this is why I cannot believe that the Dallas Cowboys are not giving Zach Martin what he wants. If your future in this season hinges on Dak Prescott's ability to get the job done, why are you not paying the man who's going to protect him and who has been protecting him at a high level?
Yeah, I think they're going to end up paying him. If you're just joining us, Trayvon Diggs agreed to a big contract extension. Obviously, he'll be back, and he's happy with over $20 million guaranteed for the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is the owner of the Cowboys, and he was at the podium earlier today, and he did nothing to relieve the pressure on both his coach and his quarterback. Take a listen.
I certainly think and came to camp with the idea in mind that if we can have the kind of camp we want to have, that we've got a team that can compete for the top spot. I don't want to understate that for sure. There's a lot of work to be done because we're going to play a lot of young players. But I think that when you weigh it, you weigh where we've evolved over the last 2 or 3 years with our defense. You look at some of the talent we've got, look at Dak. When I look at all those things, I think we've got a chance to be a contender.
Yeah, I would put the Niners and the Eagles ahead of them. And I just always imagine what the players are sitting there in the locker room saying to each other, that their owner does these post-game press conferences and that he does things like this, which clearly all that does is put more pressure on them. I don't know what other purpose it serves.
But again, could the pressure really be any higher? They know what's at stake. They know what that fan base is commanding. They know what Jerry Jones wants. And I think they're probably looking around in that locker room. Maybe they're chuckling about Jerry saying stuff like that, but they do have a team that could compete for a championship. I mean, the offense is better this year. CeeDee Lamb is the number one guy there. Michael Gallup is going to be healthier this year. Brandon Cooks, they added him to the fold. I think Dak has some weapons that he can work with. So much of it is contingent on him and how effective he can be. But Jerry's not wrong in saying that this is a team. What do you have them at? Maybe 12-5?
Yeah, the 11-6. Part of it is that, again, they play, aside from the Eagles, in a division that they should win 4 games in. You know, they maybe beat the Eagles once, they beat the Giants once, and they'll beat the Commanders twice, I'd have to think. And then other than that, their schedule is a little soft, and I think like last year, they'll rack up a bunch of wins. But I don't think their season is going to be dictated by whether or not they make the playoffs. I think everybody's expecting them to do that. I think if they have to get to the conference championship game. That to me, it's not Super Bowl or bust for them. I think for the Cowboys, it's like conference championship game or bust. Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, other coaches on the hot seat, and there are a couple of other fun and interesting. The name Bill Belichick has come up in regard to that. Is that fair or is that crazy, Michelle?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy, Aaron. I know that it's been rough sledding for the Patriots since the Tom Brady era wrapped up. I know that, again, the standard there is different because Bill Belichick's in a problem of his own making. He built up the standard to be so high that when he has a downtime, we're talking about him getting fired. But I think that we're discounting him and what he's capable of. This is a guy that is still one of the great football minds of all time. He's arguably in the conversation of the greatest coach of all time. We know that he can scheme a game and especially on the defensive side of the ball, really find a way to expose other teams' quarterbacks and their offenses. And I think we're talking so much about Aaron Rodgers and the drama in Buffalo and what are the Dolphins going to look like if Tua can stay healthy, that we tend to not think about the Patriots lurking. And do I think that they're better than any of those other three teams? No. But do I think that we have discounted them a lot and that we're disrespecting Bill Belichick by saying he's on the hot seat and he could get fired? Absolutely.
I think that Belichick is still at the top of his game as a coach. I think he's a terrible general manager. And unfortunately for the Patriots, he does both jobs. Their problem is a talent problem. It's not a coaching and scheme problem. Belichick will coach up any player and maximize them and make them the best. I just think they have to really reconsider how they align their front office, and Belichick just has so much power in the organization. I'll agree with you on this point, though. I think there are 31 other teams that would rather have Bill Belichick than whoever their coach is. And that includes Andy Reid, and that includes all the others. If he was available, I think you'd see. Do you think Jerry Jones would be offing Mike McCarthy to try to go get Bill Belichick? The Kevin Stefanskis of the world would definitely be standing on the street. Coming up next, ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days continue with the Indianapolis Colts. We'll tell you why they're actually one of the most fun and exciting teams in football. I'm Aaron Goldhammer. She is Michelle Smallman. Canty and Carlin's on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app.
The countdown to kickoff rolls on. 44 days until the NFL season begins.
A new era of Washington football is here.
He's covered, if he's not, he's open.
Continuing coverage.
You should be motivated to do it again.
Camp to camp, team to team. The NFL lives here. ESPN Radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Happy to honor Lieutenant Catherine Thompson, been with the Champaign Police Department for 16 years. Presently serves as the District Commander for the North Patrol District in Champaign. That means she oversees all patrol operations in the area north of University and east of Prospect.
Catherine, one of the things you are good at is the negotiation aspect of it. How did that come to be?
So it's the gift of gab, right? But really, negotiating is all about listening. game. So you have to be able to listen to people and be able to put yourself in their shoes. Our big word is empathy. And without empathy, you cannot negotiate.
What does it feel like when you're successful, everybody's safe, and you've captured the bad guy?
That's the greatest feeling, especially for the victim. This is when you see the look on their face of the relief that they feel, then that's when the high fives can begin. You've helped somebody, they feel relief, you see it on their face, and they feel safe now in their own home.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our law enforcement official of the month.
Hi, I'm Steve with Restoration Urban Ministries, and we have a desperate need. We have a building that's coming down, and we have to put up another one. But we have you, and we have God on our side. So August the 12th, we are going to have at Hessel Park in Champaign, family, food, and fun. We're going to have 5 to 10 different church bands playing. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have testimonies. We're going to have food. We're going to have sausages and barbecue and corn on the cob, all kinds of summertime treats. And we're going to have a lot of fun going on. We have different games for the kids. So we're counting on you to come and join us and participate and help us raise money for a new building in Jesus' name. You can come and visit us at www.restorationurbanministries.org. Family, food, and fun at Hessel Park, August the 12th. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Hi, this is Kirk Lehman with Aftershock Decals and Design. And right now we are looking for an honest, hardworking individual that wants a career with Aftershock Decals and Design. If you have any kind of experience wrapping vehicles, tinting windows, we want you.
You can't touch this.
No, not that kind of wrapper.
Can't touch this.
Please go to our website at aftershockdd.com, click on the Jobs tab, and send in your resume. We want you. aftershockdd.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Oh, how do you reconnect with old friends? Answer fantasy football. How do you spice up small talk? How do you overcome awkward situations? How do you prove to your peers that you're a smart, capable, devastatingly good-looking force to be reckoned with, and nothing they can do or say will ever change that? Answer ESPN Fantasy Football. Play the #1 fantasy game. Sign up at ESPN.com/fantasyfootball. Insights provided by IBM Watson.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
NFL Nation 2-a-days on ESPN Radio. the Indianapolis Colts.
Blue 58, go! I'm Stephen Holder covering the Colts. The biggest story in Indianapolis is the expected quarterback battle between Gardner Minshew and rookie Anthony Richardson. Minshew comes in with a slight advantage. He's a veteran, and he played in Shane Steichen's offense last season in Philadelphia. For Richardson, he's got inexperience to overcome, as he started only one season at Florida. But he's got the superior athleticism, not to mention a big throwing arm the Colts hope can supercharge their offense. We'll get some answers in training camp and through the preseason, and the winner will start week 1.
Countdown to kickoff with NFL Nation Two-A-Days on ESPN Radio.
Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. I'm Aaron Goldhammer with Michelle Smallman. You know, I think the Colts are one of the most fun preseason teams to watch because of this quarterback battle between the old standby Gardner Minshew mania, and Anthony Richardson, who, while he is supremely talented, Michelle, a guy that completed like 54% of his passes in college going into the NFL, it'll definitely be worth watching. I'm not sure the Colts fans are going to want to see it, at least early in his career.
But they're hoping that they can get him up to speed, adjust the footwork, that completion percentage is going to go up once they get their hands on him and they get him in the system. But the raw athleticism, he is such an electric player. Either way, whichever way it works out, it's going to be fun and entertaining to watch. But, Aaron, I hope we see him sooner rather than later. Love Gardner Minshew, love the jorts, love everything. But I think we know who he is as a quarterback. And I would like to see Anthony Richardson sooner rather than later so that they can determine what he might be.
Okay, fair enough. As a fan, I really want to see Anthony Richardson because on any play, he might do something I've never seen before.
Yes.
If I was rooting for Anthony Richardson's long-term career, I think it's a terrible idea to play him early because unlike Bryce Young, Bryce Young has a ton of college starts under his belt. I've never seen a guy so prepared for the NFL, which is, I think, one of the reasons why he went number 1 overall. Anthony Richardson is one of these guys, and it's not that all of them have struggled, but I think if you don't have a ton of college football playing experience, thrusting you into the next level is not a good idea. Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. Jonathan Taylor, because he's another one of these running backs, has become one of the most forgotten stars in the NFL. Just a year ago, Michelle, everybody was taking him number 1 in their fantasy draft. Now I don't know he's even a first-round pick.
I don't play fantasy football. Where does he rank now? Because I know, isn't that the number 1 pick is the running back normally because of production?
See, now I hear a lot of people taking receivers number 1 overall, and they're like Justin Jefferson is a lot of people's number 1, especially in these leagues. Oh my God, with 5 points per reception. And
yeah, no doubt.
It's a passing game, and a lot of they try to scrape together, a backup running back here or there to fill those positions. But I'm in a league, where I think he probably went for the most money. I'm in one of these auction leagues where I think he probably went for the most money of anybody last year.
Interesting. Well, I still think you're right. Jonathan Taylor is somebody that has been forgotten in a lot of ways because we're hoping that he can get back to that production that he had in 2021. And the Colts are an interesting team, Aaron, in a lot of ways because of the division that they play in. There's a lot of question marks surrounding the AFC South. The Texans are going to be bad. The Jaguars and Titans are obviously supposed to be better than them, but we still don't really... I feel like they're question marks, not exclamation points, the other 2 teams in that division. So it'll be interesting to see the Colts take shape and see what they look like in that division.
I want to be careful how I say this, but I think it's important that they regain some level of respectability across the league because I think they got really ridiculed last year for 2 things. One is firing Frank Reich and hiring Jeff Saturday off of Get Up was a heck of a move. I mean, whatever you think about the job that Jeff did and whether he did or didn't deserve the job, it's something I'd never seen an NFL owner do before. And then they blew that incredible, what were they, up 33-0, and they lost on a nationally televised game against the Minnesota Vikings? That was a giant embarrassment for them. So one thing, while I don't think they're a playoff team, Shane Steichen's got to prove that he belongs as a head coach in the NFL because firing Frank Reich was a bold move. And I think also they've got to, confirm that they're back and a little bit more stable, certainly, than they were. Last year was a bit of a circus, I thought.
It was. So I just looked it up. 3-5-1 start, Then they fired Frank Reich. They finished 4-12-1, completely crumbled down the stretch.
Yeah, the whole thing with Saturday was, it didn't work out. And obviously I think he got an interview. That was one of those jobs where I think I got an interview and you got an interview and Shannon producing the show got it. We all got an opportunity to be the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Up next, Saquon, new deal. Is he the best back in the NFL? We debate and discuss. I'm Aaron Goldhammer, Michelle Smallman with you, Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, all you backyard chefs and barbecue gurus. Barbecue season is here, and I know that you're anxious to fire up that smoker or grill, but your yard needs mowed. Yes, your wife is getting hangry, but that grass isn't going to cut itself. What's an aspiring pitmaster going to do? Get the world's fastest mower, a Dixie Chopper from Dedicated Diesel in Urbana. They carry a full line of Dixie Choppers from the Z2 and Beautiful Eagle residential models up to the big Excalibur and classic commercial machines that can mow nearly 8 acres an hour. Get your Dixie Chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. This is award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt, and whether I'm cooking low and slow or hot and fast, I always have time to savor the flavor because my mowing time is cut down by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower. Get your Dixie Chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. 217-328-0562.
By now, you've all heard the expression, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 for PDR Automotive. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. But who are they? They, the PDR staff, understand that a name is only as good as the people that represent it. The PDR staff has more than 335 years of combined automotive experience. Several employees now on staff for more than 25 years. PDR, more than just a name. Family owned and operated, now celebrating over 50 years in business.
Join the Champaign Parks Foundation for a fun evening of food, socializing, and entertainment at the iHotel and Conference Center with Champaign Park District's Youth Scholarship Fund to benefit from the new Ties and Tennies Gala. It's coming up on Thursday, September 14th, and you'll enjoy dueling pianos, a plated dinner, complimentary wine and beer, live and silent auction, and featured speaker Team USA Paralympian sitting volleyball player Nicole Millage. Learn more details. Visit champaignparks.org.
Tapman's Towing is looking for you. If you want a career with a great local company, it's Tapman's Towing, paying top dollar for experience. If you have an excellent driving record, good oral and written communication skills, are willing to work hard and want to be paid top dollar, visit tapmanstowing.com. Tapman's is looking for CDL drivers, record drivers, and dispatchers. Work with a local company that rewards hard work. Tapman's Towing. Visit tapmanstowing.com to apply today.
Tapman's Towing.
It's Emily Atkins. She owns something called Happy Healing. Tell me about what you have planned coming up.
September 9th, we have our spiritual spa day. We have 3 wellness practitioners coming. We have Brenda, who does sound bowl healings with crystal bowls, Drea, who does facials, and we have Emily, who does massages. So we'll be selling tickets, and so you'll have a half hour of each, and then I'll be there and we can make candles too. You can go to the website, happyhealing.us.
If you're looking for a pre-owned car, truck, or van, look no further than Sarah Champagne. You know them for their 5 incredible vehicle brands, the BMW, Honda, Subaru, Buick, and GMC. But did you know they also have over 100 used cars, trucks, and vans in stock right now? And at Sarah Champagne, they will take care of you. You can trust them. And prices begin at under $2,000. Stop by Sarah Champagne. They're Burwash and Savoy, or go online, sarahchampagne.com. That's Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
The Girl Scouts of Central Illinois are excited to host the premier event, Diamonds, Desserts, and Distinction, on Thursday, August 24th. The evening will feature Girl Scout cookie-inspired desserts, the recognition of area female first responders as the 2023 Women of Distinction, and more. Funds raised through the event will support local Girl Scout programs that teach essential life skills. Don't miss this special event on Thursday, August 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the City View Banquet and Meeting Center. Get tickets and find out more at getyourgirlpower.org.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-375-2830. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-375-2830 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-375-2830 to see if you qualify. That's 800-375-2830.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.